The Roman Empire has a long and fascinating history of war and conquest. When we think of ancient Roman legions, we visualize troops en masse marching along roads led by centurions on horseback, keeping their regiments in line with precision. These were armies to be feared, for their reputation went before them. These were the legions of men specially chosen, recruited exclusively from Rome's own citizens, the Roman army's elite heavy infantry. A typical Roman army consisted of 5 to 6 legions, and there were 10 regiments to 1 legion. The first regiment had 5 centura, which had 160 soldiers each. In the other 9, there were 6 centura of 80 men. A force to be reckoned with, the Roman army was the largest and meanest fighting force in the ancient world, and very advanced for its time. They were almost invincible, as they were the best trained, and they had the best weapons and armour of any fighting force of its time, and their presence spread from Britain as far as the Middle East. Only men could be in the Roman army, and the legionnaires had to sign up for 25 years of service. If they survived, they were rewarded with a gift of land and they could farm. It certainly was not an easy life. There are many legends that surround these turbulent times, and the strangest of these is the disappearance of the 9th Legion of Spain, the lost Roman legion. The vanishing of Rome's 9th Legion has long baffled historians, and there have been many theories as to what happened. How could 5,000 of Rome's finest men just vanish in the swirling mists of Caledonia? Legend has it that in 120 AD, Flavius Aquilia, carrying the eagle standard, led his legion of 5,000 elite Roman soldiers to northern Britain on a mission to quell a rebellious Celtic tribe, and they and their treasured symbol were never seen again. This was the last record of the 9th Legion serving in Britain, but there's no clue as to their fate that subsequently befell the troops after that. This, of course, has given rise to intense debate and speculation over the years. An inscription from the reign of the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, 161 to 180 AD, has been discovered, which provides a list of Roman military units at the time, and the 9th Legion of Hispania is suspiciously missing. One of the first historians to investigate the missing legion was British antiquarian and author John Horsley. In his book Britannia Romana, which was published in 1732, Horsley was able to identify when the various legions that were sent to serve in Britain arrived and left, but he noted that there was no record of the 9th Legion leaving. The exact year of the disappearance is unknown, but some historians suggest that they were annihilated in battle in 108 AD. With this said, there is no evidence or artifacts remaining to prove this theory, and there were no survivors to relay this account in the historical records. They just disappeared. This is not the only time throughout history that a regiment of soldiers simply vanished, never to be seen again. There is the case of India's missing 54. These missing Indian soldiers were lost through the cracks of a turbulent war with their rival neighbours Pakistan in 1971. India believes the 54 soldiers may just be another number among the missing in action, but almost 5 decades after their disappearance, there is still no clarity over their actual numbers or their fate. Then there's the mystery of the Celtic Wood. This refers to the apparent disappearance of 71 men during the First World War in 1917. The missing men belonged to the 10th Battalion of the 1st Australian Division. They vanished during the Battle of Falkapel when attempting a diversionary attack on German positions in Celtic Wood near Passchendaele. What makes it odd is that German records have no mention of the attack. This, of course, has led to speculation that the unfortunate soldiers were massacred and buried in an unmarked mass grave. Rumour and legend still say that the men simply walked into the strange mist and disappeared without a trace. And what of the 3,000 Chinese soldiers who simply vanished in 1937? The Nanjing Battalion was assigned to a 2-mile stretch around the city where the Japanese had taken control. The Chinese battalion were charged with preventing the enemy fighters from escaping it and defending a bridge over the Yangtze River. On the night of December the 9th, 1937, the commander, Lai Fusein, ensured that his troops were dug in for the night and soldiers were placed on watch and then retired to bed as usual. The next morning, he was woken with the news that there was no response to any calls or signals from the battalion. A team were sent to see why the defence was so silent, and when they arrived at the defence line's position, there was no sign of the men. Stranger still was that there were no signs of struggle, and the missing soldiers' weapons were still in place, ready to be fired. The remaining soldiers were questioned, but they knew nothing of their whereabouts, and those at the bridge had seen no movement across it. With no sounds of combat during the night and no visual clues as to where the battalion had possibly gone, it left a mystery that is yet to be solved. Unexplained disappearances have always caused curiosity and intrigue. Never finding out the true fate of those unfortunates that have gone missing would send a chill down the spine of the most ruthless investigator. When an individual goes missing, it can be put down to a number of reasons: foul play, kidnapping, personal reasons, or simply choosing to fake one's own death. But when you have disappearances on a huge scale like this, where a large number of people just simply evaporate into thin air, you're into a different league of missing person cases. War is horrific enough when the dead are brought home. How horrific for those missing soldiers that could never be counted. War does not determine who is right, only who is left. Bertrand Russell.